Hello, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you are having a beautiful day or night. We're gonna start with the Kipper / Lenormand, and I think we're gonna clarify each card with the tarot, flow from there. This reading's timeless. Whenever it finds you, it is the right time. Always use your discernment, and if it does not feel like it's your message or make any sense, it's for somebody else. But if you feel drawn to the reading anyway, my intention is always that something will come through that really resonates for you, even if it's only one message. And that is the message that would be helpful for you and bring you back to your own personal connection and inner guidance with divine energy, you know, to lead you to the answer that's inside of you. Always try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, based in love and for the highest, greatest good of everyone. So we're all uplifted in love. Let's begin. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels and energies of love have for the highest, greatest good of all. What is the initial opening focus that would be helpful to know about today? That you are getting a message, or somebody is going to be really happy and know that a message from you is valuable because this was sealed. So this could be a text, email, document, package, phone call, face-to-face conversation, but that face-to-face conversation either is followed by more texting, more messages, or it's a text about how to bring something to a face-to-face discussion. I feel like it is valuable, and I feel like for some of you, this could be somebody that was stalling on communicating for a little while, really trying to put the proper words they want to say together, because it looks like there's a bunch of letters in that drawer that they kind of put away. So it kind of makes me feel like somebody was thinking about a conversation in scenario land that hasn't actually happened, or replaying a conversation that has happened and then figuring out how to have that follow through, the follow up, the conclusion, the continuous, I see the ... of that conversation. So either this is you sending something out or receiving. Let's clarify. Let's go right to the tarot. Why is number 7, which I always see as a spiritual like number, a destiny kind of number. It also does relate to the Chariot. So it could be about momentum, movement, working together with the right energies, the right person. I get, I looked at that phone, right? And I heard one of those, ooh, Rose. I heard one of those like replaying, kind of really annoying, on hold songs that they play, and it's only like 4 measures long, and then it repeats, and then it repeats, and it repeats. And I do feel like somebody almost like hung up on something that was starting to get annoying, or was always on repeat, but never like the conclusion to that song. So I do feel like somebody was put on hold, either to figure out how to put on a new playlist or new energy or new conversation or new information, something like that, or somebody was kind of stuck. But I feel like whoever was stuck listening to that repeat energy was getting kind of irritated. If this is somebody that stuck around and waited through this long period of wait time, I want to say if that's you, or if that's someone else, that person had a lot of patience in that situation. They knew somebody would answer. They knew somebody would figure out, you know, how to change up that music or pick up the phone or, you know, figure something out, but they waited. So I would say give that person some props for being extra patient, because I feel like there's a big group that wasn't so patient, and they just kind of were like, yeah, we'll call back later. We'll handle that situation another time. So why is message coming through? Wow. you got the Star. That's also a very big destiny card. So maybe that was worth the wait. Maybe that was even worth the annoyance. With the Page of Pentacles, that's also a message. That's usually a pretty solid, realistic text message, phone call. It's not really bathed in emotion. It's not even over analytical or getting too much in the mind. It's very practical, that kind of communication. It's like, here you go. What do you want to do with that pentacle? Or would you like to meet up here? Or I have this going on. What would you think about that? It's very grounded. It's only a small message, though, if that is a message, but it's a tangible offer. It's somebody who has this pentacle in their hand that offers something, an opportunity, a gift, an open door. It's something that can be planted into the ground, but requires more work. Whatever this is, even if it's a person or a conversation about a potential partnership, whether that's friendship, love, business, whatever it is, it needs to get past that small energy or the newness, the freshness that is the Page, because that's just the beginning. It's not up to the night where you're in the experience and doing the work in the garden, riding the horse, you know, on that journey. And it's not really where you've had a lot of the experiences and now you're at that confidence of the king or the queen that something is absolutely growing in the kingdom. It's just talking about it still, or your first time, you know, your first day on the job, or the first, I don't know why I saw dates, but then I actually saw two people picking up boxes and moving in with each other. It could even be that. Let's say this is a partnership that is pretty well grounded or coming in, but two people haven't ever lived together, and that creates a whole new dynamic of getting to know one another than just always going on dates. But you got the Star here. So either there's somebody in your world shining like that star, or that's you. Maybe you're being gifted an opportunity that you need to put more work into, have more experiences with, but does have the potential to grow, to be a real tangible dream come true in your life. But the Star is also completely allowing something to flow. You're on the ground, but you're stepping your toe in that water. It's finding the path of least resistance, because there's always those mountains, which are usually representing obstacles that are in the background. But that flow of water has made its way from that mountain, from that obstacle, through the streams to come to this pond, where now this star has learned to both fill up their own cup and learn when to even dump something out, to let something go, allow something to be. The Star is divine guidance. It's also where it comes after that Tower energy. So if there was an argument or a weird, you know, message that came through, or had to be clarity about any weird communication, I feel like this is an actual conversation that really starts to heal either you or a situation or a partnership, or it's starting to do something with your energy, even if it's very, you know, early, and it's like prime days here where it has the potential to really magnify really huge as far as being somebody's dream come true. Really starting to feel like this is a destiny situation, not just a little offer. But that energy gets bigger and brighter, both within inner knowing, but it's following that divine guidance. And I always feel like the Star is where your aura just starts vibrating huge. And when you're doing what you love and you're putting this effortless effort, a little conundrum, into something because you vibe with it, then you will constantly be given and gifted many opportunities that open up new doors, that take you in a different direction, people that want to work with you. And I feel like there's something about following through that opens something up more and more. If this is just your energy and that Aquarius energy, you're shining like a movie star right now. And I don't think it's just to one particular person. I feel like some of you are shining in a way, whether you have a platform or you're just really starting to feel successful in your career, but it's because you're doing something really rare or unusual in your career that makes you stand out, different from the rest of the people in your corporation or company or place of employment, whatever that is. Even if it's just that you stand out to your customers or your clients, there's something about you where, like, I just saw, like, I actually, very interesting, I just saw a hairdresser. But it's kind of like that, like when you find your hairdresser, you know, that's your girl, that's your boy. They did exactly what you wanted and better. You're going to be loyal to them forever. You know, even if there's somebody who has more criteria, more credentials, more experience, whatever, it's like, that's not your person. So there's something about you being somebody's person where you shine different and inspire them, and just, they're like magnetized to you in a different way than anybody else. So let's get another from the Lenormand. What is another message from message 17, the Star, and the Page of Pentacles? I always see the Star, even upside down, as still pretty damn beautiful. It's still in your destiny. It's still the stars aligning to help you out. But sometimes either by, sometimes it's lack of self-confidence or not really following that inner guidance to get you there faster, or some hiccups that happened in the way, that mountain, that obstacle. Even if the mountain or the obstacle happened on this path to destiny, it was there to bring you strength. It was there for a purpose. It was there so you get to overcome something and see it from a different perspective. I mean, the stars are pretty big perspective. So anything that comes in your future, you just handle differently. And you wouldn't have known had you not have had that little hurdle or that situation. So the stars, when you start to see all of it as a blessing, and upside down, it's still in the stars for you. It's just a little bit farther away. And sometimes that's because people get stuck in their boots, or they get stuck at that, I don't know why I saw a maze. I saw a maze and like getting to, you know, like a dead end. And then having to backtrack, and then feeling like you're lost, and then going through an open door, but then the light goes out and they're looking for the light switch and they feel lost. But eventually you find your way through that. And eventually I see that what felt like a maze or something that was confusing, now look at it as a labyrinth. Now what felt like it was a big old puzzle is now a path of meditation, where along the way you are learning something, you are gaining something, and even though it feels like you still might be going in circles, it's bringing you towards this brand new opening. Because I always feel like at the end of that labyrinth, you gain some insight, either about yourself or your situation. And I feel like it's even maybe the same situation, but your perception upon it has changed. So instead of getting in your own way or getting stalled by that roadblock, I see you next time. Oh, you know what? There's a dead end over there. You know what I'm going to do? I've learned from that first time I went through. I just see somebody bringing their like Indiana Jones lasso. And they're like, yep, I'm going to get over there. And they like lasso themselves and pull themselves over that thing that would have been a hurdle or an obstacle in the past. It's just a different way to perceive something, but sometimes you don't think of that right away if you're kind of new at something. You have to go through and experience a little bit. But anything that seemed like it was almost not tangible or touchable out there, all of a sudden starts to get a little bit more realistic, approachable, doable. I hope that made sense. kind of really like, I like when I get really cool, like visual imagery. It's like I get to see a little, like a little movie. So tell us what else, whether this is the same situation or just an extra message, another situation. Life is complicated. What is another focus or key thing to know about right now with the collective that is watching this, or situation, focus, and energy, vibration, please and thank you. Oh, you have an anchor. I like this particular card, and I'm not sure what the exact book interpretation is of it. I like to go a little more intuitively with the cards that I use, but it's a 35, so it does bring you to an 8. So technically now you have a 7 and an 8. And the star 17 is also an 8, which is like infinity. But this particular anchor, I see almost like it has two sides of the coin here. Look at it. It looks like it's both being pulled out of the ocean, and like by divine energy, it's almost like it's its own boat and it's moving. So that's one way to see it. Maybe there's, you know, if it's not Wonder Woman's invisible plane, maybe it's like a big invisible boat of movement, forward movement, or something that was anchored in emotion now is popped out. Something that was heavy and stalling forward movement is now being brought out of the water and about to maybe go in a boat you don't see here, so that there can be forward movement. If somebody was trying to move that boat, or, you know, have that movement towards destiny, or send that message, and they just felt anchored in by a situation, or anchored in by their emotions, or stuck. This is that anchor, like, oh, you mean the boat doesn't move when the anchor is in the water? And somebody has learned. Just like when there's a hurdle, they're like, I can get over that big old wall if I bring a ladder, or if I bring my Indiana Jones rope. So there is something about bringing something up for movement, and yet knowing when to drop the anchor to give something that stability, or when the anchor needs to dive deep into that scary ocean of emotion to really dive deep into one's self, shadow aspects, or how to see where something can have stability. There's also something about a bird's eye view here, and seizing an opportunity, because usually a seagull is one that takes advantage of an opportunity when it's there. You know, when they see the people on the beach and they're holding bread in their hand, seagull's not really a bird that's afraid to go right up to somebody's hand and be like, oh yeah, bread, I got it, I'm getting that. And they like, you know, they want to be the first one. So maybe it has something to do with not, I saw the bread. So maybe it's something about not just accepting breadcrumbs in any situation, whether that's just communication, an opportunity, a job, a partnership, a person. Maybe this is an anchoring of something that brings clear communication, or anchoring that particular point down so that communication is key. It could also be where somebody needed to release something really heavy, drop the chain, and take that energy of freedom and flight away from anything that was holding them back or constraining them. There's so many different facets to that particular card, but I feel like it has movement. I feel like I can see the waves hitting it also, because this wave is really hitting this anchor. I see, I don't know, like not letting something slip through your fingers before it is gone, but I also see catching the right wave of opportunity when it's there. If that's not your wave, another one will come that is. But if you see that that wave feels like it's just, what do they do? Like the right, all the elements are just kind of feel like they're right, even if it doesn't feel like it's right, but at the spur of a moment, you know instinctually that that is the one to catch. Start that body surfing thing and get that wave, because I feel like you're going to catch it. And then whenever I see the wave, besides it being really fun if you were body surfing, or, you know, what did they used to call those? The boogie boards? I think that's what I used to take to the beach when I was a kid. I don't even know if they make those anymore. Take your boogie board or your surfboard, you know, if you're a professional, and you're in that moment, you're on that wave, you're riding that amazing experience and being in the now. But there's also something about taking that wave to the shore. Because when you get to the land, that's when something can be anchored into reality. And instead of just being a far-fetched dream, you can start to live that dream and embody it, so you are there as it's becoming true, because it involves you. So let's ask about the anchor. I want to do this. I used that. I actually want to use a different tarot deck just in case similar cards come through. So what is a little deeper insight and details about 35, the anchor? Why is the anchor here for the collective? I got the world. The anchor is here because you are releasing something that was in an old cycle. Maybe that's part of what this message is. Somebody else could be releasing something and coming towards you. You could be releasing something and going towards somebody else. It could be in this brand new cycle that you are heading towards, that you end up connecting with the right person that really communicates pretty well with you. I'm also getting that whatever new cycle you're about to enter into, this communication is not just one person. This is many different opportunities where it's like if you open that door of opportunity or you plant something in the ground, I'm seeing most of those things or tangible energy you put into something as growing, like almost like it even grows in the starlight. I looked at that at 2222 instead of just the sunlight. It's like the star is that bright that even in the middle of the night, when maybe other situations wouldn't be growing, your situation is still growing. And I don't think it's one opportunity. I think you're going to be gifted many. But I feel like part of that gift and part of that growth and part of that movement has to do with you letting an old cycle go. You have to take that big curtain, you know, curtain call bow. Thank you. That was a good run. Or thank you. That was a weird cycle. And then just know that there is something that you have really learned, because you're already away from judgment. You already have recognized the seeds that are beautiful, beautiful divine karma that you're bringing with you. And it's going to create this lush green man growth in your future, whether now or in the soon future. And you've released that heavy energy, or the things that you are now after judgment have complete self-awareness, divine awareness that you're not dragging that baggage with you. You've learned from it and you're going to do something a different way in this cycle. Or whoever this is that's talking about this with you, it is possible that you are this muse of inspiration to somebody else to help them complete a cycle, even if it means starting over. Sometimes starting over, it doesn't matter what age you are, is a little weird, it's a little intimidating. That can be why somebody stood at that wall and they're like, I don't know what's on the other side. And I know this maze really well, so maybe I'll just go around in this maze a little longer. This world card, 21, is where that old world no longer feels like it's suitable. It feels like a chapter that's been read too many times. You know what's going to happen in the ending. It doesn't ever have that growth or that expansion that usually somebody is really desiring. But you have to have a little faith. I just thought of George Michael. Wouldn't it be nice if I could touch your body? I know not everybody's got a body like you, so I gotta think twice before I give my heart away. And all those games that people play, 'cause I played them to. I always think it's funny when I just like go off. And you guys are so lucky I don't like really sing loud here because I tend to be very loud. I try to keep it under control on these videos, but maybe look up that song. Also, he has those sassy jeans that he wears by the jukebox. Maybe it's something about a jukebox. I did see like the playlist or something when I saw that phone on hold. So maybe there is something about music, having faith. This is also surrounded by the fixed signs, which usually like stability, usually like, you know, to know that forward movement is, you know, an absolute sure thing. But sometimes you just have to have that faith in yourself or in someone else that even if something doesn't work out exactly as you were sure about, there is a possibility you'll find a solution and it could be even better. If the world is upside down, it's somebody knowing there's an ending and watching that rerun of their own life, like over and over. And then always imagining if they only took that leap of faith, if they only had something different, if they only had that portal, if they only had that opportunity offered again. But then they keep themselves back instead of being in the energy of ballsiness and strength to just go for it. I feel like with this, somebody recognizes with the green man here, going for it is going to create more growth. Also, the world can be, for some of you, I saw somebody with a platform, if some of you do anything on the internet or videos or even just connections to customers that are worldwide, clients that are from a faraway land, whatever that is, even if it's people that you know that are in your town or your city, but it's a wider dynamic of culture, I feel like that's where you're going to shine. That's where you're going to connect. There's something here where your energy, your vibration, your open mind, the way you're willing to start over or start fresh with each person from the beginning is what makes I'm getting like a really natural, realistic, relatable connection you have with many different types of people, personalities. So I also see that if some of you have been thinking or wishing about traveling the world, maybe it's time to book that ticket. I do feel like some of you might feel like maybe a certain location, and that could be just, I mean, I just always think of like New York City. You can be on your block, you know, that you live in, you know where your grocery store is, you know, the stores you go and buy the basic outfits, or, you know, the people that work at the bodega and where you get your coffee and all that stuff. But then you can go like 10 blocks and then a couple avenues over and it's literally like a different city. Everything is different. So it doesn't even have to be somewhere far in the world. Maybe it's just not in the area that you are typically used to, where you're going to branch out, connect to somebody new, be gifted an opportunity from an awesome conversation that maybe starts with, hey, hello, do you come to this place often? It's the world of possibilities are in your hands, right there. So let's get one more just so this is even. What else? So now you have two major arcanas here. That's big energy, guys. This is a bigger situation, but it looks like it does start with a little bit of realistic, logical, direct communication. Maybe asking even the right questions. I always see the Page of Pentacles sometimes as a little bookworm. You know, they want to dive in and read more about something, but I don't see it as just the one that wants to observe. It's not really like the Page of Swords. The Page of Pentacles is a little more hands-on. This is the one that generally picks something up by watching somebody else maybe once, but they don't want to watch more than that. They want to get on in there and be like, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. It's like the one that's the volunteer to get up on stage and be the first to try it. They learn more by actually being in the experience and putting their hands on something, whether that's a creative project or having the conversation, you know, talking to the horse's mouth kind of thing, than just watching somebody in a class or from afar. Like, this is the one that will go up to the teacher after class and have 10,000 more questions on everything that they didn't get to address the teacher with when they, you know, had their hand raised and got to ask one question. They're like, well, what about this? And what about this? And then they will put those answers into usual physical use. I feel like this is somebody maybe that likes to, I see a list. I feel like it's somebody that likes to make a list. This is what I have to get done today, or these are the things I have to check off. And I feel like this person feels a lot better when they follow through with that list. But because it is a younger energy, it is possible they get frustrated and possibly a little lazy or complacent if something didn't go according to plan. Or if they feel like they volunteered for something and, you know, whether it's the first time playing a new video game, or that's your lab partner in a science class or something like that. It's like, if it was upside down, to be the one that, if they weren't the expert right away, or they weren't as good as they thought they would be, if they're upside down and they don't have a lot of either self-discipline or confidence, then they might not follow through with something they could have the potential to actually be the best at. And then maybe the person that was kind of a natural, but then didn't have the stamina or the consistency with something. This is the person that has the consistency, especially when it's combined with talent, to actually go pretty far and really shine. I just saw an actor for an audition. I know that's not everybody's situation, but I saw, I don't know, it's interesting. Like, I saw one person going in the room and almost having the perfect sides memorized to be able to, you know, do that audition so many different ways depending on what they felt the director wanted or whatever. And I kind of feel like this person knew the sides and was a little more natural, because this is a very natural energy. Natural with how they approach the character, like they almost didn't have a particular idea in mind, but they nailed it. I know not all of you are actors, but I feel like that could even be an interview or a first date, or even somebody that you just meet that ends up being pretty prominent in your future world, where there's something about preparation is key, but then letting it go, because sometimes the mess ups are what makes somebody relatable and actually make the connection than somebody being in perfection. I hope that made sense. It was kind of an interesting thing to see. I always find like messages like that sometimes are very direct, and it actually is a message for somebody that's an actor. But I feel like there's an indirect energetic underlying message that has to do with that kind of energy, even though I saw that specific situation. So let's get one more. I guess this is, let's clarify that page. Clarify the page, please. There's the page here. The page needed patience. Do I have my glasses? I forgot how these cards are a little more detailed. This person's taking a break, but sometimes when you look at the Seven of Pentacles, this person looks like they're burnt out. They're really tired. They need a little break to, like, you know, rest on that shovel or their tool, whatever it is. This person actually looks like they're taking a pause and proud of what is growing here. It does look like whoever this is has had to have patience with growth. So sometimes with the Seven of Pentacles, it's seeds that you have already planted, but that harvest time has not come yet. But I'm getting a really interesting message. I feel like somebody is really proud that this is the day. They knew it was coming. They weren't sure when it was going to happen, but they attended that garden nonetheless. If it was a big old dry spell and it didn't rain for a month, they took that watering can out. They dragged the garden hose and they made sure that their little bush here got enough, you know, water. They took their watering can out there because they knew that if their heart and their effort was put in the right place where they're really in it, then this was going to grow. Sometimes that growth happens underneath the surface, and you have to have that faith, that trust that, okay, you don't see the plant sprouting yet, but you know it has to be growing roots. And then you go out and you're like, oh, I saw bees. So maybe it's one season. You only grow one little pentacle, you know, but maybe you figure out that honey, the bees, that thing that pollinizes. Maybe that even has to do with advertising. Maybe that has to do with word of mouth. But bees all work together. Bees, I just think of our apple trees. One year we had like big apple trees and there were like 2 apples on the tree. The next year we had bees, or after that year, the apple trees are like they're the biggest apples ever. They're like falling all over the place. There's more than we know what to do with. And it was just that made all of the difference. Sometimes it is a seasonal thing. It's just a weird season. You just got to get through it and get to the next season. What did you learn from that season? But there's something I'm getting about honey. Honey doesn't allow any impurities in. It's a complete like antibacterial. So when there's actual honey on a wound, an infection cannot happen. So there's something about whatever you've been working on, you have been highly protected, especially if it's your destiny. Whether that's a partnership or a project you're working on or future things coming in, there's something where that honey has absolutely been a part of your energy, but your work that has completely kept out anything that had impure intentions or would have been something that caused weird growth in your situation, even if growth had to happen slower. It's something about your growth happening in purity. And this is somebody that knows how to put in the effort. But for some of you, it could be either you or someone else. If this is not working out here and you planted way more seeds than that one little bush provided, then this could be somebody taking pause, taking note, analyzing a situation and all the effort put in to see if it is the right environment, if it is fertile ground, if it is worth all the effort. So sometimes it's saying, it was a good run. I had a lot of patience. I put in a lot of time, but I think that beautiful pentacle, I think I'm going to take all those seeds and figure out how I can have a whole damn forest or a whole garden instead of one little bush here. So sometimes it's somebody taking those seeds off, those pentacles, those opportunities, and replanting them where it's a work maybe smarter, not necessarily harder situation. And sometimes the effort is worth, or the work is worth the effort, and vice versa. Whatever I saw here was, remember I said something about somebody having a lot of patience? This is somebody who has a lot of patience, but has somebody run out of patience? Or was being on hold and hearing that weird song over and over totally worth it? Or did somebody release something that they had to be patient on, especially if it was outside of their control, and take their control back to their own soil, their own garden, their own legacy, you know, their own effort, and plant that love and attention into something where they knew, at least there, where they were in control over their environment, is going to be growth. Upside down is lack of patience. It's somebody trying to pull the carrot out before it's even sprouted a little bit and wanting to make a big carrot salad. You know, it's somebody who hovers over their pentacles, blocking the sunshine or your starlight so that it never gets the proper energy to grow. It's somebody too impatient with the natural progression of something through its seasons. Let's go to this one. I want to get you like a message. So when I look at all these together, I feel like there have been deep roots in your situation, possibly between you and someone else, that had a lot of potential, but it never really, it was like stalled or never got off the ground, or there was an ending that was preventing a new beginning, or an ending that needed to happen before a new beginning could occur. There could have been lack of communication that tried somebody's patience. It could be a new communication that comes through that creates a completely new cycle in your life that helps you recognize that your destiny is unfolding in maybe a better direction than you ever dreamed, or maybe you're constantly uprooting those pentacles as they grow, and you're a little more like Johnny Appleseed, and you're moving this growth to like more expansion, more territory, than sticking to just this little garden here. I feel like there's something bigger here. Ooh, well, we got a couple. Oh, this is a lot. I guess they're all meant for you to hear. I don't know where that is, but wherever that island of, you know, pretty little colored stones is with that crystal clear tranquil waters, I kind of want to go there. And if anyone knows where that is, I want one of those stones. So I have the energy from that location, because it looks like it's almost too beautiful to be real. But whatever I said about you connecting to customers or other people from other parts of the world, the right vibrations of people that will help you get something anchored, help you get something moving, help your dreams to come true. Because it's not always having to have this destiny energy happen on your own. We are here, all of us, to help one another. Whether it's just an acquaintance that you have a conversation and a message with, or it's somebody that's a lead role in your life. It's all of the chapters of our life, but no man is an island. So I need my glasses. Let's see what all these messages are. You have the network of connections. Oh, the flame of purpose. The peace of mindfulness. And the flame of inspiration. So find inspiration in this. This would be everyday life. This would be some pretty big ass inspiration. Even you being inspired by a conversation with a person that you meet in the grocery store, or you're a friend, or something you watch. Maybe you even watch something that inspires you and you send your friend a message, or send them the link, or send them the video, like, just saw the coolest thing. It totally made my soul like start to twinkle. I'm going to send it to you. It's the thing that we were talking about before. You've never heard anything like this. Watch it. I think you're going to enjoy it. Find inspiration in everyday life. Look for beauty and wisdom in nature, art, and people, and inspiration fuels your spiritual growth. Inspiration is that excitement. It's that sparkle. That makes you twinkle. It makes your, you know, aura bigger. It brings opportunities into your life. It, I don't know, inspires you to put in work, but where it doesn't feel like work, it feels like it's fun. It's where it's something that you get to do, not just have to do it. Practice mindfulness daily. You get homework. I love when homework comes through for you guys. Spend 5 minutes each morning focusing on your breath. That's actually really good homework. And 5 minutes is not that much, but when you really focus on prana, chi, breath, I mean, that's life force, energy coming into your body. Just to have awareness of that and that alone, and just don't think any more about it. Don't make it more complicated than it actually is calming. It does change your vibration. It does center you and ground you. Notice how this practice centers and calms your mind, especially if you feel like you are overanalyzing something or trying to figure something out, trying to make a decision, even if you're just amongst chaos or a lot of drama or, you know, something really complicated or strenuous. That's something really simple that you can do. I always feel like that's even something you can do if you're in a situation, you're like, I need a bathroom break. And you just go to the bathroom for like 2 minutes, not even. That can totally switch anything. So when you walk back out there, you've changed your vibration and you handle something differently. The flame of purpose is discover. Well, where's your star? You got 2 flames. Interesting. And just show that you have 2 little flames here. The flame of purpose. I like her little coconut bikini I had to make her. Discover your life purpose. Think about what makes you feel. That's what I just said. What makes you feel most alive? Not like, ugh, drained. I have to do that again. It doesn't have to start with you completely, you know, severing all ties in your life and totally taking a leap of faith and doing everything different. Sometimes it starts with a little conversation. Sometimes it starts where you're just new at something. You're like, I don't know if that's going to turn out to be like my destiny, but I really am kind of interested in that class. Or, you know, I want to take a drive to that place in the world, or, you know, go on vacation or whatever. Always kind of interests me, kind of gets me excited. And then you see where that leads you. You follow that. Maybe you meet somebody on the plane. Maybe you meet somebody in that location. Maybe you have a conversation. They give you the right kind of inspiration or idea that you take back at home with you. Now you open your own doors. All of a sudden, you never even thought that you could do this one thing as a living if you didn't have that conversation going to that place in the world where you have always thought about going. It's all synchronicity that will open up the right path for your soul's purpose for you. But your soul's purpose involves that energy of joy. Think about what makes you feel most alive and fulfilled. Take small steps each day towards aligning your life with this purpose. To take no steps, to not step up to bat, to not go, you know, put actual effort and energy into a specific direction is going to make you always feel like you're stuck on that repeating cycle. It doesn't have to be big leaps and bounds, but small steps add up. And you are really on each step you are in. What was your last card? Did I lose it? The flame of purpose. I guess this one, the flame of inspiration. Find inspiration in everyday life. Look for beauty and wisdom in nature and art and people, and inspiration fuels your spiritual growth. We read that. Oh, I guess this one. Build a strong professional network. Attend industry events. Join professional groups. And connect with peers online. I did see you doing Worth That World, doing something online. Even if it's something you see online, but you go to in person. Cultivate genuine relationships where you feel the people around you, even if they're really different, there's something about being around people or certain people where you feel authentic. You feel like it's an authentic connection. And, you know, that doesn't have to be a friend you call every single day. It can be just somebody that here and there you send a message, but your intentions are true and real. And I feel like you are connecting to some people that really do want to work with you. See potential in you. Maybe this is even you seeing potential in somebody if you are already the professional and you give someone their first chance to try something. Let's get you one more from the messages from the universe. I kind of wanted, maybe I have to do it now that I'm thinking about it. I kind of keep looking over at the mystery deck. So maybe let's end with a mystery message or two. But let's see what the big universe has to say for you. What is a universe message, please, and thank you. Sometimes holding on, you know, something wasn't the right foundation here, or you got this big, huge destiny in store for you here. This is a big ending, not a little ending. But holding on to something, anchoring yourself, tethering yourself to something, if it is constraining you or restricting you from this huge soul's growth or your destiny, or something that inspires you, a desire, and it's just, you feel stuck, but you're holding on to something. Sometimes holding on actually does more damage than just letting go. So leave behind all that has been weighing you down for so long and reach for the opportunities that are waiting for you. Where's your star? You reach for that star, you're gonna get a hold of it. I promise you, you will not regret it. You will never regret saying I love you. You will never regret stepping up to bat. You will never regret taking steps towards the things that make your soul feel inspired and alive. The only regret is to be sitting on your couch or sitting at your desk or driving in your car and thinking about all these things that you would want to do in your life, and life is but a blink of an eye, and you never attempt or try anything. Scared of success, scared of failure. It's nothing to be scared of. You are divinely protected and directed. But you have to be a part of that, because free will is also a part of your destiny. Oh, this deck is so big. So let's get you a message. I feel like we need to really cut it all different ways. So what is a message for the collective? That's exactly the message that just came through here. And if that doesn't feel like you, if you feel like you're pretty good, like you're, you know, you get to the end, you'd like a new cycle, you're always about adaptability and change and growth, not everybody is. So if it doesn't resonate for you that this is your message, you might be that inspiration for somebody else that tends to get a little stuck or complacent or has all these dreams that you maybe even have spoken about with, but then you recognize they don't ever take any actions towards that. Maybe you are going to be this muse to somebody's life that's going to help them get on their path of destiny, or sees the potential in the effort they put into something, or sees where they're putting effort in but not really into it. So if anyone is staying in a cycle that was supposed to end, the world's a big ending, it's going to happen sooner or later. So maybe it's even getting exciting excited and preparing step by step for that end, looking forward to what could be and what will become. That's important. Maybe it's for some of you, you're even helping somebody with the transition. I just saw somebody helping somebody move a lot of boxes. Well, I just saw, what did I just see? Somebody helping somebody move. This is a little more ballsy, bold, but this is somebody who literally is so ready for an ending. Their ending message is, don't let the door kick you and you know what. So maybe somebody has, what did it say? Sometimes holding on does more damage than letting go. So leave behind all that's been weighing you down. So maybe somebody has just decided like, yep, you know what, you want to go? Time to go. Or this could be somebody who is, if they're not the one leaving the door, this could be somebody putting some closure in a situation. I don't think for all of you that person's actually going to say that. I feel like maybe that's more of an energy thing that they are thinking, but that means somebody's done. Like they're just done. They're not gonna go through the rotating door anymore. And that could be anything. That could be a partnership. That could be a job. That could be a whole group. That's someone who's gotten to the point where they don't want to repeat that cycle anymore. And at the end, don't be a party pooper. I kind of like that. Look at your vibration. You know, even if things don't work out right, be mindfulness. What did you learn if it didn't work out? What did you figure out by hitting that thing and bringing your Indiana Jones rope the next time because of going through that weird situation? But, you know, this is kind of like an Eeyore energy. If you're around a bunch of Eeyores, they're party poopers, and your vibration is inspired over here and excited over here, and they always kind of bring a rain cloud to your situation, then maybe it's just you leaving, or, you know, you don't want to come with me. Well, I'm going to go. Don't let the door hit you, and then you know what, you know, and just as you being your own party, you know, your own lively entertainment. And let's get you another one. I forget some of these cards are in here, but I kind of think they're fun. They're little extra messages. Wow. Didn't I just say something about somebody moving? I actually saw somebody carrying moving boxes. Maybe it's time to move. Maybe that anchor finally got on that beautiful invisible boat, and it's time to move into or out of this old cycle into what is supposed to be and has been written in the stars and feels right in your soul as your destiny that gets brighter and brighter and closer and closer. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. I love you so much. Thank you for being here with me. I hope something came through in this reading that felt like it resonated, made a little sense, either to your situation or maybe somebody else's situation. If you are a cross watcher, that's cool. You know, sometimes you watch things to see what you are trying to figure out, if there is lack of communication between you and someone else. But just recognize, if you ever watch a reading, at least on my channel, and you are a cross watcher watching for someone else, I will only get messages, because my intention is never, ever to invade anybody's space. I always ask permission. So I'll only get messages from somebody's higher self that has a energetic connection to you, and it's to be helpful for you. So that being said, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night or morning, or if you're watching me in the middle of the night, I hope that you get some beautiful sleep. And I very much look forward to seeing you mañana. I love you so much. Bye.